Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a new project that has been released on the Avalanche blockchain, and this project is called Avalanche or XAVA token, right? Again, as always guys, I highly recommend you guys to do your own research on any of the projects that we can cover in my channel. And for this project, I recommend you guys to go to their website avalanche.app in order to learn more about this project, right? So what is Avalanche? So Avalanche is basically an interoperable token pools and auctions platform for the Avalanche blockchain, right? So if you guys take Ethereum, immediately after the Berlin hard fork, we got some really good gas fees reduction on the Ethereum blockchain. And I think I myself remember doing a transaction on Uniswap with just $7 in transaction fees, right? And that happened immediately after the Berlin hard fork. But again, as you guys can expect, once the gas price went low, people started swarming in and started increasing the transactions because they wanted to all take advantage of the low gas fees or relatively low gas fees on the Ethereum blockchain, and that has consequentially increased the gas fees way higher than even before the Berlin hard fork, right? So now I think there are transaction fees on Ethereum that range between 150 to even $200 per Uniswap transaction, right? So why I'm saying all these things is that if you see, Ethereum is continuing to struggle with extremely high gas fees and very little scalability and low throughput, and this is obviously presenting a lot of opportunity for competing blockchains such as Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and then even recently Phantom Network, right? So amongst these players who are trying to rapidly get the market share of Ethereum, Avalanche is a very underappreciated blockchain that is performing relatively, that's having a relatively lackluster performance, considering the fact that it's one of the most secure and very cheap blockchain with really good quality projects that are being developed, right? So if you take Ethereum, there are several launchpad based platforms on the Ethereum blockchain, and if you see PokerStarter, which is one of the most popular examples that I could give you guys, it's a Polkadot based project, but is currently available on the Ethereum blockchain. And PokerStarter has kind of listed several high quality projects that have at least done a minimum of 10x, if not 100x, after its launchpad launch. Similarly, Binance Smart Chain has its own launchpad. Polygon is also having its own launchpads. So all these other blockchains are having their own launchpads, and until recently, Avalanche was one of the few blockchains that didn't really have a more popular launchpad based project. But I think Avalanche is basically going to be this go-to launchpad, and I do see a lot of potential for this project in the upcoming months. And one of the main features that Avalanche has offered is interoperable token pools. Again, this is something that is one of the most critical portions of blockchain technology, which we haven't really experienced yet. Interoperable token pools, it's kind of like taking things to a next level. It's a subtle change, but this is a change that would definitely bring in a lot of excitement to the crypto space, right? Because so far, again, as you guys know, every single blockchain is its own siloed network with very little to no interoperability between different blockchains. Considering that as a fact, you pretty much can't even expect to do any form of token pools between two different tokens that are from different blockchains, right? But Avalanche aims to make this possible by having interoperable token pools and also interoperable token auctions as well. So If you take, let's say for example, even Poker Starter, for example, it's basically it's a launch pad or a platform that kind of makes available only ERC20 based tokens that will be recently launched, right? Or if you take Bounce Finance, for example, it's an auction based platform that only lists projects on the Ethereum or the Binance Smart Chain blockchain in their respective networks. But if you take a project that will offer interoperable token auctions, Avalanche is going to be the first amongst its competitors, right? So that's a very interesting value proposition right off the bat. So welcome to the future of fundraising. Okay, that's basically their short and sweet welcoming sentence. The first protocol exclusively for the Avalanche ecosystem to offer promising and innovative projects, a fast, secure and efficient platform for decentralized fundraising, right? Again, very well said in this particular sentence. So they are basically one of the first protocols that are exclusively launched on the Avalanche blockchain, and it basically offers a platform for innovative projects that can basically use Avalanche's fast, secure and efficient and highly scalable blockchain for decentralized fundraising, right? You can also join their Telegram group to learn more about this project. If you are into technical stuff, you can go to their GitHub and understand some of their updates and some of their progress with their project on GitHub, right? Finally, a platform built for investors, teams and communities. Again, it's pretty interesting value proposition, definitely for several audiences, including investors, several team members of the project, as well as for communities, right? The fundraising space is broken. We've come a long way, but we can do better. Today's decentralized platforms are slow, confusing, expensive, and isolate both new and experienced investors. Participation is restricted to a select few, and technical issues seem to be the norm rather than an exception. Blockchain innovations are accelerating faster every day. It's time for fundraising to catch up. So again, if you see, they're very clear with their value proposition, right? So why should you use Avalanche? Avalanche is basically bringing light to the fact that the current fundraising or auction-based platforms are not very efficient. They are not necessarily broken, but at the same time, they're not necessarily efficient in the sense they are definitely slower compared to several newer generation blockchains. They are also expensive, and they basically isolate the projects that genuinely want to target a particular audience group, right? By trying to by trying to launch in a particular blockchain, they're kind of excluding members from other blockchains to be a part of this kind of launch a launch pad platform, right? And that's kind of like an issue, because liquidity is something that we would obviously need for long-term sustainability and high user retention in a particular blockchain or crypto. So therefore, when it comes to like the Avalanche launchpad, you kind of get the best of both worlds by not only getting a faster blockchain with highly scalable solution, but also an option to kind of use interoperable pools to tap into the liquidity from different blockchains, right? And also, it is important that every single project kind of catches up to this kind of innovation, because the blockchain space is growing extremely rapidly. Whether it's a bubble or not, I do believe that there's a long-term potential for cryptos overall in general, and any DeFi project that aims to offer innovation will be will have a place in history as a project that has kind of like been a forefront of disrupting the current financial ecosystem, right? So Avalanche is basically one of the forefront, one of the forerunners when it comes to blockchain-based innovation, and the fact that they're trying to solve a very unique and currently pressing problem is a good thing, right? The Avalanche protocol, people first. So again, they have several important features for this blockchain. It offers interoperable swap pools, permissionless listing, fair and equitable fundraising, vesting and distribution, fixed and variable pools, and contract and investor protection tools, right? So again, I'll just kind of cover each and everything in a bit more brief explanation. So if you see interoperable swap pools, again, it's very self-explanatory. Based on what Avalanche is stating on their website, you are able to have one token from one blockchain and another token from another blockchain and create liquidity pairs for both of those tokens within the Avalanche pool, right? Permissionless listing, again, this is pretty straightforward. Again, you don't really have to explain this in detail. Permissionless basically is a characteristic of any decentralized ecosystem. So you don't really need to get a third party's consent to kind of like list your project. So again, it's pretty straightforward. Fair and equitable fundraising, again, this is something that we are yet to see. We have to kind of see how the fundraising actually happens in reality in order to see if it's fair or equitable. But they are claiming that it's kind of like a fair and equitable fundraising mechanism. Vesting and distributions, again, this is also not really unique because there are a lot of projects that kind of have a vesting schedule and they have a distribution that's based on how much tokens a particular person holds of a particular launchpad project. So again, similar concept to those fixed and variable pools. So again, this is kind of like a newer kind of trend that is kind of being created. Fixed pools and variable pools are concepts that can be kind of like equated to Uniswap's V3 version, where you don't really provide liquidity for the whole price, for a whole different range of prices. Instead, you kind of provide liquidity for a particular price range, or for even you have the flexibility to provide it for a particular price range or even for any variable liquidity variable price ranges as well, right? Contract and investor protection tools, again, this is something that is very important. I do think that as DeFi space and the blockchain kind of ecosystems kind of mature every single day, more and more projects should bring in a contract and investor protection tool as a default in all of their platforms, right? So again, this is basically to ensure that there's an insurance kind of like system in place that's built within a particular project in order to prevent some form of a smart contract bug from being exploited, right? Intuitive user experience, again, as you have seen from their website so far, it is kind of like very well explained with the really high quality graphics, and the way they're trying to make user experience more simple on the app is also going to be something that's going to be interesting to see. For investors, participate with confidence. So if you are an investor, they're basically stating that Avalanche is going to be a good project that will help you find the top quality projects on not only the Avalanche blockchain but also in different blockchains as well, right? Avalanche is designed to remove the pain points of the current fundraising landscape. Conceived with an investor-forward framework, the protocol's goal is to remove the confusion, cost, and volatility of other platforms. We want to inform and empower investors and participate in sales with confidence, right? Again, pretty straightforward explanation. They just want to make sure that they attract investors from different blockchains to try out their product. Designed by investors for investors. Again, some of the key high features for Avalanche is basically stable price, you get predictable outcomes, and you're more informed as an investor, right? And it's a secure and compliant kind of like system, a fair distribution of tokens for the Avalanche token, and intuitive user experience, right? For teams, raise right, start right. When it comes to raising funds, a team's specific needs should be front and center, not an afterthought. there's no step more important in a project's journey. It's oftentimes the first interaction with their future community and can set a tone for better or worse of what's to come, right? So again, if you are a project, if you're a project team who want to list your token and try to get a community for yourself and try to kind of engage the community in participating in your ecosystem and also receiving a token for their investment in return, Avalanche could be a good project, right? The Avalanche platform is dedicated to making sure teams receive what they need while establishing strong positive momentum. So again, some of the key benefits of using Avalanche for your project is basically stable and dynamic pools. Again, as we discussed, multiple auction types, so you can kind of like have multiple different auction types, similar to several launch pads such as Bounce Finance, which has like 2 different tiers, one for general and one for more like tailored towards people who are really serious about investing project with large volumes, right? Platform vesting and distribution, again, that's also something that we already discussed. Accept multiple currencies including stable coins. Again, this is one of the I think this is one of the unique features when it comes to this section, right? If you take multiple different projects, they either accept Ether if it's an Ethereum based project, BNB or if it's a Binance based project, or their native tokens, or you can basically buy with stable coins, right? But Avalanche is going to launch projects where people can basically participate by any type of cryptocurrency or multiple different types of cryptocurrencies, including stable coins, right? So the users have much more of like a diversified option when it comes to investing in a particular project. Custom sale parameters, again, you can basically have custom sale parameters that is optimized for your own project. Avalanche blockchain token distribution, again, that's also something that is pretty obvious. For communities, all fair, no fumble. Without network participants, there is no network. Community is the lifeblood of any project, and its strength begins with an equal opportunity to contribute no matter who you are. Avalanche's focus on broad participation and fair distribution means that community members can focus on what matters most, supporting the product, right? Again, if you are a community member, which I believe most of you guys are, then they are basically stating the importance of community development and some of the features that as community participants what you will be getting from Avalanche is basically stable and dynamic pools. Again, you will have the flexibility to choose between particular pools, multiple auction types, again something that we already discussed before. Platform vesting and distribution, accept multiple cryptocurrencies, accepting multiple currencies including stable coins. Custom sale parameters, Avalanche blockchain token, again pretty similar to what the teams would pretty much have access to, right? Avalanche powered by Avalanche. The Avalanche blockchain represents a true step forward for the industry, offering highly decentralized applications, new financial primitives, and new interoperable blockchains. Again, something that we are already aware of. Avalanche is proud to bring only the best and the brightest projects to the Avalanche ecosystem. Through their groundbreaking consensus protocols and architecture, our protocol is able to offer cheap transactions, high throughput, near instant finality, unparalleled security, interoperable assets and applications, right? Again, these are all something that we already very well are aware of, and Avalanche is basically ensuring that it's a high quality project that brings in new and high quality projects to the people's attention, right? So here are their team members and some of their LinkedIn profiles in order for you to do your own research, and some of their advisors. Many of them have kind of like direct links with Avalanche. So the Avalanche or AVA Labs, which is basically the parent for Avalanche blockchain, and again pretty much a very well explained website. It has a lot of information presented in bite-sized pieces, and it's basically a project that aims to do something slightly unique, where it kind of like uses its platform as a launch pad or kind of like an auction platform where you can basically have auctions on interoperable tokens, and interoperable token pools are also available, right? So let's go back to the CoinGecko page for Avalanche. Avalanche is basically ranked 916th by market cap on CoinGecko, and is currently trading at $2.40 at the time of making this video, with a 31.7% decrease in its price over the past 24 hours, which kind of like is a really good opportunity to buy this token. This token is a relatively new token, and therefore its market cap is less than $20 million. It's slightly above $15 million, but it's definitely like still a very small micro cap token. And also, in my opinion, I believe this is even a gem of a token, so thereby this makes it a micro cap gem, right? If you take the max supply, the token has a max supply of 100 million tokens, which is basically the sweet spot in my opinion, because I don't really like buying tokens that have a max supply of more than 100 million, because I believe that when it comes to tokenomics, scarcity is something that should be an inbuilt mechanism, which will regardless of whether the token kind of like has a fundamental use case or not, the scarcity will be a very big factor for long-term price appreciation, right? So again, when it comes to that, I'm really happy with the max supply, but the circulating supply is only 6.4 million tokens. So again, if you see 6.4% of the max supply is kind of like in circulation, which kind of can add to the long-term, for the short-term price slumping of this token. But I do believe that long term this token will have incredible potential as the Avalanche ecosystem kind of grows and becomes this huge self-sustainable blockchain that can kind of like consistently host launch pools or launch pads via the Avalanche platform, right? So it's just yet to see how the token price will kind of like react when we actually have launch pools or launch pads on Avalanche, right? So if you take the charts, again, not a lot of information is available because it's a relatively new project, and if you take the 24-hour chart, you can clearly see that this token is kind of like extremely volatile, obviously, because you're looking at the 24-hour price chart. But if you look at the 7-day price chart, you can clearly see that again, although not a lot of information can be deduced from this, you can still see that the token is overall kind of like moving in the upward direction with the high volatility, and the people are kind of like noticing this project and kind of like trying to get in as early as possible so that they can kind of like not really worry about price dumping or anything like that. If you take the 14-day chart, you can also see pretty much the same thing. 30 days, and again it's pretty much the same kind of like pattern. No real update or information can be gathered from this. But if you take the again Bitcoin compared to again similar price pattern, Ethereum compared to again similar price pattern, but at the same time we need to kind of like bear in mind that just because the price charts are not really reliable, that doesn't mean that the project is not a good buy. As you saw, the token price has declined to a percentage of 31.5, and this is kind of like an opportunity for people who want to buy this token at a really decent price discount. And also you can kind of expect this project to kind of go a little bit lower as well, right, during the weekend. But again, that's pretty much it for the price chart. But if you take the exchanges, it's available only on the Pangolin exchange. Again, Pangolin exchange is basically the Uniswap of the Avalanche ecosystem, and it's also a very underrated project, which in my opinion has a high potential to explode and be like the Uniswap or PancakeSwap of the Avalanche blockchain, right? If you guys want to check out my thoughts on the Pangolin token PNG, you can check it out at my channel. It's a review that I made relatively recent while back, and you guys can obviously check it out from my channel, right? So Pangolin is pretty much the only place where you can buy Avalanche, and it's a good thing because usually many projects from Avalanche are not really listed in several centralized exchanges. So if you are looking to buy tokens or get exposure to high quality projects from the Avalanche blockchain, there's a lot of hidden gems which are yet to explode in price. One of the hidden gems is Avalanche. So, and you can basically purchase a lot of these Avalanche based project tokens on the Pangolin exchange, right? It is a little bit tricky to use Avalanche because you kind of need to know the C chain and kind of like need to kind of bridge bridge Ethereum to the Avalanche blockchain. You may want to watch a couple of videos on YouTube to understand how you can bridge tokens from Ethereum to Avalanche. And you also need to obviously bear in mind the high gas fees that you may have to pay when you bridge between Ethereum and Avalanche, which may not necessarily be suitable for many people, but for people who have a decent stack of cash and who really want to invest in a project that is extremely undervalued, I think you can pretty much bridge some USDT or some kind of stable coin from the Ethereum blockchain, or you can even like withdraw Avalanche tokens from Binance, converted it to through the C chain from the Avalanche wallet, and kind of like use your Avalanche to purchase XAVA token or Avalanche token from Pangolin, right? You can pretty much watch a lot of videos on that in order to get exposure to the Avalanche blockchain itself. And there's a lot of new projects which are extremely high quality, which are yet to pump on the Avalanche blockchain, right? So what's my thought on the Avalanche token? I believe that this project is an extremely unique project which is completely going unnoticed. It's also extremely brand new, which means there is no real all-time highs or all-time lows. It kind of is yet to kind of like be in the price discovery mode. It's a token that's extremely low market cap value with less than $20 million in market cap. It has very strong tokenomics, 100 million max supply tokens, and only 6 million, about 6 to 7 million tokens in circulation. The team is very strong. It is extremely fast and scalable because of Avalanche's blockchain, and there's also a unique value proposition where this project is kind of like making interoperable token pools as well as interoperable token auctions available on it, right? So I can see this project kind of exploding by the end of this bull run, and this project is something which is an extremely low market cap gem that if you invest in right now and hold on for long term, you will probably be in a really good financial position, right? Again, not financial advice. Please do your own research before you put any of your money on this token. I'm just giving you my suggestions, right? Which should not be considered as financial advice, right? Again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.